Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Bridgerton Season 3, Part 1. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. If you're like me, you're upset that Season 3 has been divided into two, but it's probably honestly probably marketing and Netflix trying to retain their audience, because we know Netflix has been struggling with that lately. So whatever, child. We'll talk about part one. It's fine. I still enjoyed it. Okay. I've watched it now 3 times. Definitely love the friends to lovers trope. It's my favorite story arc. I absolutely love it. I also have never read the books. I'm just strictly going off of the show. I'm also sick, so I have a little bit of brain fog, so this will not be in chronological order, okay? Giving a quick background from season 2, we have Kate Sharma and Anthony Bridgerton, who got married. She's now the Viscountess, so they have been away on their honeymoon. We have Colin Bridgerton, who has been traveling over the summer, but before he left, he was overheard telling other guys in the town that he would never even dream about courting Penelope Featherington. Penelope is Eloise Bridgerton's best friend. However, Lady Whistledown had to write some salacious things about Eloise, which kind of, shed a bad light on the Bridgerton name for a little bit there. And so Eloise was kind of shunned by society, and then ended up shunning her own friend Penelope because she found out that Penelope was actually Lady Whistledown. So Penelope and her family, they also had to flee society for a bit because the new Lord Featherington turned out to be a scammer. He was selling fake rubies. It was a whole thing. So now we're here in season 3, okay? Penelope and the other Featheringtons have returned, and they now have regained some status in society. Not quite sure how valid that will be because, what's her name, Portia? I feel like her name is Portia. Portia Featherington, the mom, she had forged a document saying that one of the heirs will gain the wealth of the Featherington name.
The last Lord Featherington wrote a document bequeathing the estate to my girls.
Did he? Why didn't you tell us sooner that one of us would be the new Lady Featherington?
You're both married women. Must we tell a baker to bake? I take comfort in knowing that you will always be here to take care of me.
So now the two Featherington girls who are married are in a race to get pregnant. This has to be the funniest back and forth between these girls, because one of them is actually having sex but just despises her husband, despises the sexual act, all those, like, she just cannot stand it. And then you've got the other one who is very much enthralled with her husband but has no clue what sex is even about.
Albie and I lay together before we arrived.
I'll just lower your voice.
We kiss, and then he makes an odd sound.
When he inserts himself.
Inserts himself.
His breeches remain on?
Of course.
Why must I be punished over and over?
This girl has been making out with her man thinking that she's creating a baby. Poor baby. So they're going back and forth. I think one of them, it seems like both of them are starting to experience pregnancy symptoms. So I guess it's just going to be a wait to see who is actually pregnant and if the child is going to be a boy, because only boys can inherit the family riches and stuff like that. Then you have Penelope. Penelope has been tired of living with her sisters, living with her mom. Her mom even says, I take solace in knowing that you will always be here with me, because even the mom is like, my daughter's never going to get married. Penelope says, hell no. Forget that. I'm going to change my whole appearance, okay? I'm going to enter this season fully intending on finding a husband. And honestly, she was doing a pretty good job on her own.
It is not us they stare at. Miss Featherington, pleasure to see you.
What a striking gown you have on.
You as well, my lord.
And that one, who is she? That, Your Majesty, is Miss Penelope Featherington.
Her changing up her look was a very good strategy. It was catching some people's eye and stuff like that. However, she is still very inexperienced when it comes to men, as most of the women are in the Ton, the unmarried women in the Ton. So she actually enlists She enlists Colin to help her, and so we'll talk about that a little bit later. As for the Bridgerton girls, there are now two women who are looking for a man in society. We have Eloise, who had her name tarnished in the previous season due to Lady Whistledown, and now Francesca has had her debut. We have the Queen, who is looking for a diamond, but none of the women are really sparking her interest. So now she's looking for someone who sparkles instead. And she actually calls Francesca her sparkler of the season. So Francesca is the one who we're focusing on the most when it comes to the Bridgerton family. Colin is also eligible to marry. I mean, he has been for a while, but he had his eyes set on other things for a long time. In season 1, it was Marina, the girl who got pregnant. In season 2, he was just starting his travels and stuff like that. So now that he's a world traveler, okay, he's Mr. Worldwide, he now has seen a lot of things and he's adopted this personality that isn't really who he is.
My travels. I cannot begin to share my travel adventures with you. How is it possible that your dance cards for the season are not yet full of suitors? Men will be fighting over you. I cannot compete. My stories from abroad are not suitable for such tender young ladies.
It's being talked about in the ton. The guys like it because Colin tends to be a more sensitive, feely guy, and now he's a little bit more callous and he's a womanizer, and the guys really like that. Lady Whistledown, also known as Penelope, doesn't really like that too much, so she writes about Colin, and that doesn't sit well with Eloise because she knows who Lady Whistledown is. So Eloise is basically upset with Penelope because you're talking about my brother, you're talking about me and my family, and then you also want to get help from my brother? Like, how does that make any sense? And through all of this, Colin doesn't even know who Lady Whistledown is, and he says he's going to ruin her.
It's been vexing, watching you walk back into society with such ease.
Let me help you, and to earn back the favour of the one person who has always truly made me feel appreciated.
Is this new character the real him, or simply a ploy for attention?
I do not care what Lady Whistledown writes about me.
Have any idea who she might be?
I do not. I will make sure it is her life that is ruined.
Yeah, we'll see how you ruin her, sir. So all the while, Eloise has been friends with Cressida Calpa. Cressida, we don't like her. We've never liked her. She's never liked Penelope. So they're having this back and forth between them. And Eloise isn't sure whose side to stand on because Cressida has been a good friend to her over the summer. But also Eloise has been her longtime friend and recently betrayed her. So she's kind of balancing this whole like, I love Penelope, but I'm very mad at Penelope. So yeah, you know, girls, come on. Interestingly enough, Cressida and Penelope actually have so much in common. They both have overbearing mothers who are forcing them to get married. They both have a desire to marry, to leave their family, to get some sense of freedom. And they both have been in society looking for marriage for the past 3 years and have been unsuccessful. So they both start to gain an interest in, what's that man's name? Lord Debling. Lord Debling, he's an interesting one. Yeah, he's an Akko Taco a bit. He loves nature. We love that for him. You know, he loves the birds and the environment and the grass and things. He's even, is he vegan or vegetarian? But he talks about all of that stuff all the time. So a lot of people don't really gravitate towards him. However, his riches, the riches are riches, okay? The man has money. The man has an estate. And so now both mothers of Penelope and Cressida are like, let me push you in that direction because this man can very well change the trajectory of our lives. Whatever tensions these two girls have had with each other, it just grows and grows throughout this season. And this actually isn't Cressida's fault. Interestingly enough, it was Eloise's fault. It gets exposed to the ton that Penelope is getting help from Colin to find a husband.
We needed a place to be alone.
Shall I pretend to flirt with the imaginary cellist?
No, me.
You?
I'm the perfect person to practice on. Imagine what you would want to say to me if I were a suitor.
Your eyes, the most remarkable shade of blue, yet somehow they shine even brighter when you are kind. I might say something like that if you were a suitor.
For some reason or another, that's very scandalous. If y'all could tell me why, please do, because I don't get where the scandal is in that, but I guess because they're roaming around unchaperoned. Whatever, child. But anyways, that's a big scandal, and because it's a scandal, Lady Whistledown has to write about it. Eloise now starts to have a little bit of sympathy because it's tough to be the spectacle of the Ton, and that's the thing that really pissed me off about Eloise before. I do understand that you're upset that Penelope never told you that Lady Whistledown was her, and that she now wrote bad things about you and your family and whatever. Like, I totally get that, but one, were you not paying enough attention to this girl to know how she talks and the things she's interested in? Lady Whistledown is Penelope. Like, it's clear as day. Clear as day. And then number two, it would actually be suspicious if Lady Whistledown didn't talk about the main events. And Eloise was about to be exposed either as Lady Whistledown or being exposed for fraternizing with somebody who was not of status. So Lady Whistledown kind of did her a favor, but Eloise doesn't see it that way. So now that Penelope had to talk about herself in Lady Whistledown, she's now having a bit of a softer heart, but she's still upset with Penelope. Penelope now is kind of the embarrassment of the Ton, and she decides to ask Colin for a kiss because at this point it's looking like marriage is completely off the cards, and she would at least like to kiss a guy before she dies.
Miss, you have a visitor.
I bribed her to give us a moment alone. I had to see how you were.
A sad, stupid girl who believes she might possibly have a chance of love.
You must not say such things.
Would you kiss me? Please. Thank you.
Girl, I don't blame you. I don't blame you because this little chunky girl, like, shout out to the big girls, but we know how it's like, okay? This little chunky girl in a family that is very sketchy, in a society that wouldn't favor her at all. Like, the chances of her getting married are slim to none. And it was really looking like none after being exposed in Whistledown. So, bestie, come on. Lay one on me just so I don't die without a kiss, at the very least. You know what I'm saying? I feel her. You have no choice but to be desperate. The identity of a woman back then was you get married, you have children, and you stay in your place. Like, that's the main role. That's why Lady Danbury is such a mogul, because she was able to establish herself sans husband. Like, she is so influential even without being partnered. You know what I'm saying? Her greatest love wasn't even her husband. But that's a story for another day. We already talked about Queen Charlotte on this channel. Go watch those videos if you want to. So I feel Penelope's pain. I really do. And after this kiss between herself and Colin now starts to think of Penelope in a different light.
Colin.
Thank you for meeting me. I've not been able to sleep. Not been able to eat. My entire thoughts consumed by our kiss.
He's starting to catch the feels for her. And it's interesting because later on in the season, you do hear Violet talk to Colin saying, you've always been the most sensitive. You've always been the one who feels the hardest, who feels the most. And his travels have made him become more callous, but naturally he is a feeler. He is a thinker. So it's no surprise that he just became obsessed with Penelope, because he's now embracing those feelings that he's probably had for a long time, but he's just suppressed because it didn't really make sense in society. You know what I'm saying? So now Penelope is, you know, on her pursuit for Lord Debling. He's genuinely interested in her. It's not a pity situation. And Colin is a little bit jelly.
I spoke to Penelope.
What did she say?
Enjoying the party?
Immensely.
I find your frankness immensely refreshing.
Yeah, be jealous. Be jealous because you said you would never, even in your dreams, court this girl. But now in your dreams, you fantasize about her? Oh, how the turns have tabled. How the turns have tabled, sir. Love to see it. When they were having that innovation, oh no, there was an innovation ball after the balloon, the hot air balloon situation. That hot air balloon situation was so frustrating because I feel like it was moving quite slow. And little Miss Penelope was taking her sweet time trying to mosey out of the way. And, you know, you got her one man trying to stop the balloon. You got her other man trying to protect her. I said, not you got options, sister. Love that for you. She now has options. That's great. Let's go to Francesca for a little bit. Francesca, as we know, is the sparkler of the season. And the queen would like her to be with Lord Samadani. Yeah. She, however, is her mother's daughter. She has taken a liking to Lord Kilmartin. And they, you know, they're different. They're different than the other love connections we've seen.
Forgive me, I was simply...
I needed some quiet. I've been in search of it all night. I am here to call upon one of your daughters, if I may. John Sterling, Earl of Kilmartin.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
She does not speak to him.
I am in awe.
Perhaps they are enjoying themselves.
But how will they know each other if they do not speak?
These two connect by not talking. So, yeah. We see Francesca is in her head a lot of the time. She loves her own company. She gets overwhelmed a lot by her family. Lord Samadani also comes from a big family, so he wants to create a big family as well. She's not really feeling that. Kilmartin is more her speed. He's into music. He's okay with silence. He's okay with just, you know, being together. It doesn't have to be anything hectic. It doesn't have to be full on or nothing like that. There was a moment, it was so cute. They were meeting in like the courtyard or something, and she was listening to music and she was like, oh, this is just too fast. The man up and left. He just dashed away. He just ran away. But we didn't know that he was creating a better arrangement that suited what she was looking for in the music. And because she's a lover of music, she felt like that was him communicating his interest in her. And we know Violet loves a love connection. So she's all here for this, even though the queen wants her to be with Lord Samadani.
Are you interested in him? Good day, Lord Kilmartin. Are you stopping to speak with us just to be polite?
Believe you stopped. Me? Enjoyable music, yes?
If I am being honest, no.
If you'll excuse me.
He had the music we heard earlier this week rearranged exactly as I imagined it.
So we do have a few subplots here that I don't know, I didn't really care for. We have the Mondriches. Yes, we've seen them from the beginning. I don't really care for them too much, but basically their son got the inheritance of their late aunt. So now they've been introduced into society and they're struggling between being regular people and society people. He doesn't want to give up his bar, but eventually he's going to have to. Yeah, it's just a whole thing. I think the only reason why we're focusing on them is to bring in more like Black love. And I'm here for Black love, but I feel like they're kind of taking away from the story this season, especially because we only got 4 episodes. I felt like they were taking up space. That's my opinion. Then we have Benedict. Benedict is still a hoe, okay? The man has set his sights on, I forgot that lady's name, but he set the sight on a widower. She's very keen to get to know him, but she's not looking to get married again anytime soon. She's just here to have fun, and he's going to have fun with her. We also have Anthony and Kate, who've extended their honeymoon. They want to let Violet be the Viscountess, good God, the Viscountess for just a little bit longer. She does enjoy it, and they're in no rush to assume responsibility, so they're going to stay on their honeymoon a little bit longer. We have Violet, who runs into Lord Anderson. Lord Anderson is Lady Danbury's brother. First time we're learning about him, first time we're seeing him. We don't know what kind of tension these two siblings have, but she is not feeling her brother at all. He seems to be very fond of his sister. So what happened there? He probably pissed her off in some way. He probably didn't accept responsibility, and she's still mad about it. So he's now looking at Violet Bridgerton like, hey girl, you want your garden tended? And you know, she's very much keen. I'm joking. She's not like super keen, but we could tell it's been a while. Then we get to the climax of these 4 episodes. It is Penelope about to be proposed to by Lord Debling. So he's already asked for her hand in marriage. We know that Portia is super excited because her girls mean nothing if not married. And so as the proposal is about to happen, Colin got word from his mother that the proposal was going to happen, and initially he was going to miss it, but you know, she tugged on his heartstrings, and now he's like, you can't do this, you deserve better. And Cressida spills the beans on why these two have whatever they have going on.
Do you mind if I interrupt?
Colin,
It should only take a moment.
Colin, you are going to ruin things between me and Debling.
Well, perhaps that is for the best.
What do you mean?
The oldest of friends, really. Ever since the Featheringtons moved in across the street.
I see.
I've made my peace with what Lord Debling has to offer.
I said I would help you find a husband, but I cannot stand by and watch you make a mistake.
Why is it you sit at your drawing room window so often?
I...
All week I've watched you search for someone.
Colin Bridgerton would never, ever have feelings for me. It is laughable to think as much.
I did not ask if it was a possibility. I asked if you would like it to be.
Am I the only one who kind of felt bad for Lord Debling? Like, he just seems like a guy who was genuine, even though it was going to be a practical marriage and maybe not a love marriage. He still seemed genuine about Penelope. So the fact that Penelope's heart was somewhere else, I felt his hurt. I really did. And so she's now very upset at Colin because, bro, you know I have no chance of getting married. Like, why would you ever do this to me, right? And throughout this season, Colin has been looking at her, yearning for something more between them, especially after their kiss. And so he just could not let his best friend and now love interest get married to somebody else. So he's like, no, girl, I can't let this happen. He chases her down when she runs away in her carriage. And honey, the rest was history.
Did Lord Debling propose?
What business is that of yours?
I need to know.
He did not propose, because the scene you caused led him to believe you had feelings for me.
What if I did have feelings for you?
What?
These past few weeks have been full of confounding feelings. Feelings like dreaming of you when I'm asleep, and in fact, preferring sleep because that is where I might find you.
Colin, we are friends.
Yes, but
I'd very much like to be more than friends. We're at your house.
When I tell you I have watched this scene an ungodly amount of times. An ungodly amount of times, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I just like, it was so... I felt so happy for Penelope. I really did. And then with Colin, I kind of was happy for him too because... yes, he was being a little hoe for a while, but you could tell it was waning on him to just keep up this appearance of somebody who he's not. He got tired of sleeping with the prostitutes every night and a different prostitute every night. It was so tiring. And did you guys pick up on when he was talking to some girls on the Ton? He said, if ever I told you of my travels, I'd have to marry you. And although he didn't tell Penelope, there was a moment where Penelope read about his travels.
As my fingers trace freckles from cheek to collarbone, one can feel such intimacy, but also such great distance. Whatever you read was not meant for another's eye.
Please, your writing. It's very good.
Perhaps we should pause for the day.
So after she saw that and she was impressed by his writing, I'm sure a part of him was like, oh, well, what's Penelope saying? You know, what's up with Miss Penn? So yeah, we'll see what happens between these two. As we know, Eloise is going to pressure, what's her name now? Penelope, to expose herself as Lady Whistledown, especially since she also wrote something about Colin in Lady Whistledown. So yeah, it's gonna be a situation. We're gonna see what happens. Ultimately, I'm pretty sure that they do end up together anyways. So he's probably just going to have to accept that that's Lady Whistledown. Or will she stop being Lady? There's no way she'll stop being Lady Whistledown. I don't know. I haven't read the books, so I have no idea what's going to happen, but we've got to wait about a month to see the second part of season 3. But I liked part 1. You guys let me know if you liked it. It was a bit of a slow burn, but honestly, so was their story. Their whole story is a slow burn. It doesn't surprise me that it took a minute for us to get to the climax of their relationship. So yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts so far. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.